Okay, so what is MMM? This video is for those users who have just heard of MMM Network and are trying to figure out what it is. MMM is a global network of people helping each other with money. People give and receive funds from one another with no legal obligations or guarantees. But in order for us to proceed, I feel we should start at the beginning. We live in the unfair world, and just world. A world that is ruled by nothing but money. People don't matter. Only money does. Regular Joes work hard, hope their pension won't collapse, while the bankers and financiers consume fruits of their labor, in return contributing nothing. What does it take to create wealth? Well, the answer is labor, work, sweat of the brow, and all that stuff, right? Well, you tell me. What do you think works harder? Trucker, construction worker, coal miner, tree feller, oil rigger, commercial fisherman, or banker? What goods does a banker produce? How about some CEO whose golden parachute is in tens of millions of dollars, while the employees are scattering for whatever breadcrumbs are left after yet another bubble, a bubble that we were promised would solve all of our problems, collapses? What goods has he made? How about services like cleaning, delivering, designing, protecting, so on and so forth? Which one of those has he performed? How do these financiers contribute to society anyway? Well, the answer is they don't. Remember what Gordon Gekko said to Bud Fox in Wall Street? That richest 1% owns half of the country's wealth, and 2/3 of it comes from inheritance, stock, and real estate speculations. In other words, the financiers are better off than the hard-working 9-to-5 stiffs because they're better at playing with money. They're better at creating money schemes that create no goods or services, actual wealth, but are great for creating more money out of nothing. Is this normal? Is this fair? Have you ever thought of what money actually is? Does it measure work like pounds measure weight and miles measure distance? If it does, why do we have so many people working themselves to the bone only to be broke the very instant they get paid, while others simply perform some financial acrobatics and earn enough to never go broke for the rest of their lives? Once again, is that normal? Is that fair? There's nothing wrong with hard work. But if hard work is where it's at, then everybody should work hard. Everyone should be creating, building, inventing, fixing, cleaning, growing something. Not just some. Again and again, why do some have to work hard and have nothing, while others hardly work at all and live in a lap of luxury? Well, the answer is because we live in a lie. Liars tell us to work hard, liars tell us to follow the rules, and liars tell us that this and this alone is the only way to live. I don't want to descend into a Morpheus-like tirade about a wool being pulled over our eyes, but to those of you who think money is a measure of an end product or labor, you keep on believing that. As for me, I believe that money is nothing but a more humane, civilized form of shackles. Can you eat with no money? No. Can you sleep under a roof with no money? No. Can you put some clothes on your back with no money? No. You need money. And how do you get it? You earn it. Let's present to you a hypothetical situation. Here's John Doe. He wants a bike. Jane Doe has a bike. John wants Jane's bike, but he doesn't have any money to acquire it. Well, he kind of does, but it just isn't enough. He has $10 and Jane wants $100 for a bike. So what's John Doe to do? He gives $10 to Jane as a down payment and gives a promise that Jane will not give the bike to anyone else. And Jane gives $10 to a big bank. John in turn goes to Big Bank to borrow the remaining $90 that he still owes Jane. Big Bank doesn't have that kind of money, but he does give $10 as credit to John. And you probably figured out that the $10 John Doe now has were in fact Jane's. Jane gets the $10 and puts it in the Big Bank, which immediately issues another $10 credit to John. And the process continues until John Doe gets the bike and Jane Doe gets the promised $100. So what just took place? What took place is this. $10 magically turned into $200. $10 is real money. $90 is money that John Doe owes to Big Bank. And $100 is the money that Big Bank owes Jane Doe. Because remember, every time Jane gets her $10, she gave it right back to the Big Bank through her checking account, of course. Now, John Doe will never come current on that $90 debt. Because on top of principal, he will have to pay interest and late fees and God knows what other charges the bank wishes to incur. Oh, and there's inflation too. Don't forget about that. And he will probably take years and quite possibly the rest of his life to return that money. And if he can't, he will have to borrow more money to pay off his old debts. Jane Doe? Well, even if she does return to the big bank to claim her $100, she will simply get other people's money. Other bank's account holders. After all, Big Bank is called big for a reason. It has thousands of accounts of other Janes and Johns, and it knows that all of them will never claim their money at the same time. And therefore, Big Bank is not too worried about Jane Doe claiming her full account balance. Do you see why banks in our current form are parasites? For the millionth time, is that normal? Is that fair? Have you ever wondered why is it that selling your body is looked down upon, but selling your time, intelligence, and strength is perfectly acceptable? Is one really that different from another? Again, yes, we all should work. It's necessary. But we should work because we want to, if we live in a truly free society, because we are compelled, because we're inspired, because we're moved, not because we're scared of starving to death. And so long as we are of mindset that everyone should work, everyone should mean exactly that, everyone. In a situation where some chafe their hands bloody raw simply to earn enough money not to starve, while others simply doodle money on paper, is profoundly immoral. There is no justification for it. Money is but fancy-looking paper with old, long-dead men in medieval clothing. Nothing stands behind it. It's merely printed and issued to us. Kind of like a teacher issues a hall pass in high school granting you permission to go to the bathroom. Sometimes they issue us more of these hall passes than usual, and we all overcome with joy like dogs that got a bone with slightly more than usual amount of meat. So, back to the title of the video. What is MMM? Well, MMM goes by many definitions. Some call it Global Mutual Network, some call it Worldwide People's Bank, still others call it Financial Social Network. How you want to call it is up to you. And it's beside the point anyway. The point is that MMM is a protest of millions of people the world over against this machine that decides who gets to be the master and who gets to be a slave. MMM grows stronger every day. More and more people are in on the scam of the global financiers, and they can never be fooled into it again. Global financiers prosper because people see no other options to keep their money. That's why people keep money in the bank with annual rates far below inflation level. That's why people have to go to the bank for loans. They don't have any other options. Or rather, they didn't have any other options until now. MMM gives people assurance that they have all money they need immediately available. People don't have to drive themselves crazy thinking how to pay the bills if they get sick and unemployed. MMM solves that problem and addresses that issue. MMM is the door to a new world. Truly, with MMM, we can do anything.